I'm going to completely cure your anxiety by the end of this video. Now here is your mind, and here is your body. Now your mind has two parts, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious part of your mind is where you think, known as your educated mind. The subconscious part of your mind is where you feel, it's your emotional mind. And there are dozens of names for this part of the mind. There's the superconscious, infinite intelligence, but the ancient Greeks referred to this part of the mind as the heart. So as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. Now the conscious mind is only responsible for 5% of your life. The subconscious mind is responsible for 95%. So this is what's really running the show here. Now I'm going to use these symbols to represent the polarities of life. Here on the negative side of life, we have ignorance. Now on the positive side of life, we have knowledge. Now when I say ignorance, people think that I mean rude, but ignorance isn't actually being rude. Ignorance, the exact definition, is a lack of knowledge. So when we are being ignorant, we are thinking negative thoughts. We are having negative ideas. We are worried. We are getting stressed out. So now we're breeding a mental state of doubt and worry. Now that doubt and worry, once it's impressed over and over and over and over again on our subconscious mind, now we're setting a negative emotional state. Now that negative emotional state is commonly known as fear. Now that fear energy, once it's impressed, it has to be expressed. Now the only way it can be expressed is through this thing right here, through your physical body. So your physical body, once that negativity passes through the subconscious, it sets you up a negative vibration in the body. So that fear energy now moves us into a physical state of anxiety or depression. Now that anxiety or depression is not a natural state for our body to be in. So that is actually moving us into disease and decay. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, this is probably how you've been living. And I remember I used to struggle with debilitating anxiety, especially in high school. I would take medication for my anxiety, and I very quickly understood this is not how I want to be living. Now, when you go to the doctor is probably giving you some kind of medication to treat the anxiety, but they are not treating the cause, they're treating the effect. The cause is in here. The cause is in your conscious mind. It's not in the physical body. So once you experience that anxiety or depression, now you're experiencing disease and decay. That's the disintegrating part of life. So you're actually dying. Now, you might be thinking, well, how can I change this? And the answer is through knowledge. Now, knowledge, the only way you can get knowledge is through understanding. Now, understanding, the interesting thing enough is that understanding, the only way you can get understanding is to study. So this is what you're doing right now. You're studying, you're learning something new. So when you build this understanding, you now have the understanding that if you do not see the positive circumstance on the outside, you can actually build the positive circumstance on the inside. So you can start to think positive thoughts. You can start to have positive ideas. You know, what if it does work out? What if this actually does go my way? And all of a sudden, what you're doing is you're now impressing the subconscious mind over and over and over with positive thoughts, which actually sets up an emotional state that's quite the opposite to fear. Now you're experiencing faith. Now that faith energy, once it's impressed on your subconscious, it has to be expressed. Now the only way it can be expressed is through the physical body right here. So that actually sets you up into a positive vibration. You just feel so good. So that faith energy, now you start to understand faith and fear. The exact definition of faith is a complete trust in someone or something. So it's invisible. Now both fear and faith demand that you believe in something that you cannot see. So what are you choosing to believe in? Now when you have that faith and it passes to your physical body, now you've set up a positive vibration in the body that's quite the opposite to anxiety and depression. Now you set up health and well-being. Now that health and well-being could be a healthy body, a healthy business, a healthy bank account, healthy relationships. You name it, you claim it. Now that health and well-being now puts us, instead of being diseased, now we're at ease. And instead of having disintegration, now we have acceleration, we have creation. We start to feel so good. We just want to get up and go. We want to meet people. We want to do things. We want to be in this positive state of doing positive actions. Now, what does the physical body do? The only purpose of your physical body is to move you into action to produce your results. That's the name of the game. Your results are the name of the game. So if you're unhappy with your results, if you're unhappy with the way things are going in your life, you're unhappy with how things look in your external world, that means that you are living on the negative side of life. And I used to live here. I used to really struggle so much with anxiety. Like I said, in high school, I was taking medication. And, you know, these doctors, they are malprescribing you. They are trying to treat the effect. But really what you want to be changing here is the conscious mind. Now the conscious is only 5%, remember? So this is what's really running the show. It's your emotions, it's your behavior, it's your attitude towards yourself, towards everyone around you. And that is what sets up the vibration in the body, which causes you to act differently. So when you're on this negative side, you're going to take negative actions. You're not going to believe in yourself. You're going to have probably low self-worth, low self-esteem. You're not going to believe that you can actually achieve the things that you want to achieve. So you're probably going to say things like, I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't know enough, or I'm too young, or too old. These are all unnecessary limiting beliefs that a lot of people play in the background of their mind. This is like a story, kind of like a record that's just playing on and on and on until you stop it and understand, well, do you want to keep living like this? Because I've been there, and trust me, there is no positive thing that is going to come out of living on this side of life. It's only when you understand, you gain the knowledge, you gain the understanding, you start to build faith, build this trust in the invisible, in knowing that, okay, I can start to think positive, I can start to have positive ideas, positive self-concept. When you think of yourself in a positive way, now you're going to start to change your behavior, your attitude, everything is going to start to change in your life. So you can actually use this to your advantage. Now, if your results are not where you want them to be, I can tell you for a fact, it means that you're not working your subconscious mind. And that really is where you need to start to understand. The only way to really change is through repetition. The mind only learns through repetition, through faith and expectancy. So if you're praying or you're wishing for something good to happen, but you're actually expecting negative things to happen, you're going to get what you prepare for. That's how it works. So whatever you're preparing for in your life, whatever you are setting yourself up, whether you're setting yourself up for failure or success, you're going to get what you prepare for. So why not prepare yourself for success? Why not think like a winner? Why not think like the athletes and highly successful people that achieve their dreams, that achieve their goals, because they're living on this side of life. They gain knowledge, they study every day, they understand their mind, they program themselves for success, and that's what it is. Your mind is a program. Your mind is like a computer. You need to update the software. If you're not happy with the way the computer is running, whether it's too slow or it's lagging, this is just a metaphor for your life. If you're unhappy with your results, you need to update the software. You need to update what's going on inside. And once you update the software, it becomes imprinted in the hardware. That's neuroplasticity. That's when you fire and wire new neurons that really stick together. And now you're starting to act, feel, and think differently. And that's the main thing. That's the difference between someone who's not successful and someone who is successful. Someone who's a winner and someone who's not a winner. That's the main difference. It's how they think, how they view themselves and how they view the world. So this is how you want to live. Now, I'm a mindset coach and a mental health coach. I wasn't always living on this side of life. I was living majority of my adolescent years and high school years, I was on this side of life. And when I decided to make a radical change in my life, I went to join the military. And in the military, I learned so much, not only about myself, but about the world around me, the people around me, community. And the fascinating thing is that I changed so much in such a short amount of time. And the reason being was that my identity changed. I was no longer Audrea the civilian. I was now Audrea the soldier. I was now protecting a nation. And I felt important. And that's the thing. I want you to know, whoever's listening, you matter. You are important. And the moment you start valuing yourself and valuing your contribution to the world, just by existing, you being here is a gift to this world. Whether it's to your family or to your friends or to anyone around, you have the power to change. You have the power to change not only yourself, but the people around you. Because when you step into that life of your dreams, of being, the person that you always imagined, you start unconsciously to actually inspire others to do the same, to inspire other people to reach for their goals and actually achieve the things that they want. So this is really giving you an image that you can work with. And this is something that I've been to countless therapy, psychiatry, psychologists, and I never got an image like this that I could actually physically work with and understand that every time you think of yourself, I want you to think of this picture. And every time you think of this picture, I want you to think of yourself. Because your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are what is producing your results. And again, results are the name of the game. You're unhappy with your results? Take a look at which side of life you've been focusing on. That's simple as it is. Now, if you need help on reprogramming your subconscious mind, understanding that there are universal laws at play, so many people are unaware of these laws that are constantly running. You know, it's like this pen right now. If I drop it, it must come down. It cannot go back up. That's the universal law of gravity, Isaac Newton. Now there's the law of attraction, the law of vibration. You know, these are all primary laws. When you start to understand them, you start to focus on what is really important, because whatever you focus on, you're giving energy to, and whatever you give energy to is going to expand, it's going to grow. It's just like a seed that you put in the ground. The farmer knows this. If the farmer puts a seed in the ground, he knows that after a certain amount of time, after watering it and tending to it and taking care of it, that seed is going to grow, whether it's a fruit or an avocado or a carrot seed, it doesn't matter. It's going to grow. Just like these thoughts right now. You're building an awareness, you're building an understanding of this right now. So more that you listen to this, more that you frequently review it, you're now reprogramming your mind to think differently, to see things differently, to view yourself differently. And I'll tell you, the number one thing and the best thing you can do right now for yourself is change your self-concept. Change your self-image. Because all the clients that I work with, they come to me from therapy. They come to me from years of therapy, and they've been struggling for many of the things, you know, from childhood, from trauma. These are stories that they're telling themselves over and over again, and they're not going to change. They're going to keep attracting the same people, same scenarios, same events until they change themselves, how they view themselves. But you can only do this through the subconscious. That's why so many people, they work really hard in life and they're not getting the results that they want. And this is the reason. This is what's running the show. It's your feelings, your emotions, because your feeling, your heart is so powerful. It's 5,000 times stronger than your mind. You're attracting, you're literally a magnet. You attract things based on how you feel. So if you feel unworthy, if you feel undeserving, if you feel lack of confidence, if you don't believe in yourself, if you feel that you're not good enough, these are the things that you are going to attract to you. You're going to bring people and events and scenarios that are going to reinforce that belief. But what is a belief? A belief is just a habit, a thought that you've thought over and over again, that it became a habit, it formed into a habit, and we are all habitual beings. We are all creatures of habit. We act in accordance to how we view and think about ourselves. So this is how you really want to live your life. Really understanding that the conscious mind is only running 5%. The subconscious is 95% of your life. This is your emotional mind. This is the famous saying, as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. So when you understand this and you grasp this knowledge, everything is going to change in your life. It did for mine, and I know it will do for yours. So if you want help on this, if you want one-on-one coaching, you can click the link in the description and I will be more than happy to help you. I wish you the best and have a great week. Take care.